Hi, friends. I wanted to go live today because Hello, Renee.
How are you?
I am doing very well. How are you?
I'm well. The sun is shining today, so that's great.
Fantastic. And where are you?
I am north of Chicago.
Okay. I wasn't sure geographically where you were, and so
Yeah, I think I'm closer to Milwaukee than Chicago, actually, but it's funner to say Chicago.
it sure is. Oh, gosh, I am so glad to talk to you.
I'm excited to be here. This is kind of fun.
This is fun. This is fun. So just give us a little background about you and what you write about.
Oh, what I write about. Well, it's I started writing like in the third grade, right? Um, but more recent, and then in my 20s and early 30s, I was a medical writer, and then I took time out to have kids. And in 2000, at the end of 2010, my son suggested that I start a blog. So he was like 7 at the time, maybe. I'd have to do the math. 6 or 7. And so we sat down that night and started a blog on Blogger.
This was your
And
10-year
it
old
was,
suggestion.
yes, yeah. He's like, Mom, you got to start doing something. How about you start writing again? Yeah. So it was at his suggestion that we start the blog, and it was called In Everything Give Thanks. So that started, and it was like, it wasn't public, but no one ever read it. So it was kind of a public private blog. And I wasn't even on Facebook at that time. I didn't do social media, I didn't do anything. And yeah, so I started writing about the being a homeschooler, the homeschooling mom, which I didn't pick, it sort of picked me, and just, it was just kind of my life on paper, and I didn't really anticipate it going anywhere,
But it did.
but it did. It did. And so
The best surprise.
so yeah, and so then I started, I kept writing, and then, like, I don't know, 6 7 blogs later, I am finally aware, I finally arrived to where I want to be for the rest of my blogging. I think that I can definitely say I've taken all those like little nuggets of everything that I was doing, and I found the common theme in that. And I wrote about that in a Medium post someplace, where I took the theme of everything that I was doing in my 20s and my 30s and 40s and 50s. And then the theme, once I saw that theme as I was writing that article, it all kind of clicked, and it all kind of clicked like last Thanksgiving. And yeah, so now I'm excited. Now I'm excited to move forward in this um, in this mindfulness um, space.
Yes.
I guess that's the best place to put it, because it's not just mindfulness in our eating or our living or our interactions with each other. It's all integrated, and it's really, dare I say the word, holistic, but I think it really is. I think it's a container that everyone needs to explore at some point in order to be a more integrated person.
So it's a lifelong compilation that has brought you to this time and place. And it's mindfulness about all kinds of things.
Yeah, it's, I hit rock bottom in, I think, everything that I've tried to do. There's been a time where I really did hit rock bottom. And I think when you have those moments where you either give up and roll over and it's just over, or you say, I need to pivot. And then in that moment of, transformation, you use all these buzzwords and they sound so ridiculous, but when you are rock bottom, when I was homeless, I never thought I would have a home like I have now. You just can't imagine what life will bring you. And I think that's part of the thing that I certainly missed. Mm-hmm. And I think that we really do have unlimited possibilities.
Yes. Wow. I've watched some of your live videos and you just speak so from the heart. You're so real.
It's called rambling.
Sometimes I ramble and stumble upon the point. Oh my goodness. So I think that you have just started a Medium publication.
Yeah, I started writing about menopause. It's called Menopause. It's M3, Menopause, Mindful Menopause Mastery. So it's M3. And I wrote a few articles on Medium along the way, because I started writing on Medium years and years ago, before it was what it was today. I started writing food articles on Medium, and basically I was told, this isn't a food blog. Get out of here. We don't want your kind around here. So that was pretty devastating. That was a rock bottom.
Yes.
That was definitely rock bottom. And now I think if I would have kept doing that, and if I would have just stuck with that, would I have been ostracized more? Or would have people turned around and started to say, okay, she's the foodie person on Medium? Who knows?
Who knows?
But I laugh. I didn't need that in my life, right? So I did leave Medium. Medium is a great way to test the waters on topics.
Yeah.
And so I wrote an article about menopause, and it fell flat, very flat. And then I had people who, I posted it on my personal page and said, hey guys, can you give me some feedback on this? Boy, did I get feedback. I got feedback. And, I thought, so I took it down. Oh. I took the article down, and I thought, I'm never going to write on that. So that was like one day. And then the next day I woke up mad, and I thought, okay, so people aren't ready to hear this, which means I need to shout it from the rooftops, right?
Yes.
Because that's what menopause does for you. Had I been a foodie blogger on Medium, post-menopause versus pre-menopause, I would have never have given that up. I would have stayed with it. But one of the things that menopause does is it gives you so much clarity, and clarity on what clarity and cojones not to deal with the BS.
I love that. I'm going to have to share
Yes.
that quote somewhere.
Okay, yeah, cojones is kind of hard to spell. It's got an H in there someplace, but you know, I have to look it up every single time. But yeah, and I think that, so I took it down and I rethought through some things. And then I thought, I really need to do this. I really need to talk about it in a way that is gentle, loving, kind, and respectful, which is sort of like my mantra for everything. When the kids were little, even before the kids, when I worked in the preschool, we had it was a preschool for kids that were like kicked out of every other preschool. And it was like state run. So like when you get kicked out of a state run preschool to go to preschool prison, state run, I mean, it was like a preschool penitentiary for little kids, and which is super sad. On the one hand, it's super sad, but being able to work with these kids was so fulfilling, because there was a group of us there who were definitely making positive changes in these kids' lives. Mm-hmm. And one of the mantras that I just started with is that gentle, loving, kind, or respectful. And pick one, right? If you can't be them all, just flipping pick one of them. And that just rolled off my tongue. You know, sometimes it was like every 5 minutes as they were trying to kill each other because they so didn't know how to interact. And I used that with my kids as well. Awesome. And then as I, started volunteering and working in the school districts, I used it more and more. And now it's just become my mantra. So I wanted M3 to be gentle, loving, kind, and respectful towards women who are in it, women who are in it to win it, men who are with the women who are in it to win it, and men who are with the women who are just in it, right? And then the pre side of that is to show women that, yes, it is change, and yes, it is scary, and yes, a lot of things look different during that time, but at the end of it all, you don't have to cut your hair and look like your husband. You don't have to. There are more options than just that.
So you have a book coming out. So is it about mindfulness or food, or like, I'm kind of on the cliff wondering where you're going with that. Tell me about your book.
Well, so the book started out a very long time ago, and it was called Blessed by Breakfast. And so I wrote this because during the food blogging days before Renee's Kitchen, I had in Everything Give Thanks blog, there was a section of food in there and meal planning and cooking for your family and things like that. And it was called, one of them was called Blessed by Breakfast, Blessed by Lunch, Blessed by Dinner. So I was really focusing on breakfast because at that point I was trying to, we were doing some, what's it called when you take stuff out? Elimination diets. So we were doing all of these elimination diets to figure out what was causing all of these funky things going on with the kids. Mm-hmm. So in that, we banned the box. We banned the box of breakfast cereal.
I love that.
And yeah, and as I did that, I really realized how much the kids enjoyed looking forward to breakfast because they never knew what I was going to do the next day.
Oh.
So they didn't know if it was going to be muffins. They didn't know if it was going to be avocado toast. They didn't know. They had no idea at all what it was going to be.
A new surprise every morning.
Yes, a new surprise every morning. Exactly. So, and it wasn't always traditional breakfast food. Like one morning I had ramen noodles.
All right.
I mean, just to get them, anything to get them out of that mindset that breakfast has to be poured. So, so as I was putting that together, I said, I'm going to write this book, Blessed by Breakfast, and sent it to publishers, talked to agents. Years went by. I went to a food blogging conference, and pitched it, and everyone said, nice idea, but that's not going to work. Mm. So again, hitting rock bottom, rejection. And I thought, I can't let this go. This is too good of an idea. So I began taking I got more into food photography and started taking more and more photos. And my photos of breakfast really resonated with people. I got a ton of likes and comments and things like that on Instagram. So I thought, I'm on to something here. So I just wrote the recipes, and which aren't really recipes, right? Because toast, there's not a recipe for toast. Right?
Right. If you can't make toast, there's not much help.
Toast is not a thing, but making toast can be very mindful. So I happen to have the manuscript. That's the next thing I'm going to work on today. So for toast, so what I did, I'll give you, since I like you so much, toast. Toast in the book. I make a reference to give us this day our daily bread. And then in the book itself, I have 10 recipes that aren't really recipes. They are breakfast ideas. And they're all vegan. Okay. And there's a reason for that. But that I'm not going to share because that's in the foreword. I want everyone to buy the book.
Of course.
Right? But every single thing ends with a mantra. So I talk about breakfast. I say that it's toast. So I'll just read you this. What makes the difference in just toast is the bread. Give us this day our daily bread is a reminder to create and uphold a daily practice, because that's really what it is, right? We all choose for ourselves what that practice will be. Mine is grounded in love and gratitude. What seems boring and mundane is the same thing that gives consistency through variety. Bread is the constant. The type of bread is the may change. So love is the constant, but how we live each day offers unlimited possibilities, right? I love it. And then the mantra is, I am seeing myself as unlimited possibilities.
Oh, that is so inspirational.
So you go from bread or toast, right? And then from toast, and the title of the book is I am ... blessed by breakfast, right? So all of these are I ams. So you're taking toast and talking about toast and what toast can mean if you look at it maybe mindfully, and then extending that, it's like a Stretch Armstrong, right?
Yes.
And you're extending that into an I am. So every time you make toast, you look at that toast, and even though it's just toast, it is like a blank canvas of unlimited possibilities, right? Think of an artist with a blank canvas. Yes. That's your toast.
I love that.
So even though it's a small book and it's a simple book, but when you really stop to think about even the simplest things, that's when the mindfulness happens. That's when, that's, I think, when the mindfulness happens.
Sounds like that's also where the journey and the shaping happens as well.
Yeah, it's everything kind of comes together, and you can say, oh yeah, that thing helped me get here. And and then you just start to see things. You look at jam differently, because jam can go on your toast.
Yes, it can go on that blank canvas.
Right. And then it's not just jam anymore. Then you're thinking about, where did those cherries come from? Right?
Yes. And there's a story for how they grew and how they got to be in the jam, and how all of that got to visit your table.
And who picked it? And who owns the farm? Is it some grandpa, or is it some new 30-something who just wants a different way of living? Right? I mean, all of those things you can think about just when you're nibbling on your toast.
Yes. So you're obviously on Medium. I hope you're writing about this there. How do we get to know more about it and find
my Facebook Lives on Renee.love? And the reason I love that is because I follow a schedule. So I do the posts on Monday through Friday, unless something crazy happens on the weekend. Like this weekend, that I did a post because there was like this ice storm, and it was beautiful. And then as I was filming, like these chunks of ice were falling off the trees. It was beautiful. But I normally, Saturday and Sunday are your integration days for the Monday through Friday.
Okay.
So every day I have these like 5 precepts, and I did not start this. I did not plan this. It just sort of evolved after doing daily Facebook Lives for, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 months. I sensed a theme. And so I painfully went back and watched a lot of them. And I came up with 5 things that I talked about all the time, and that completely resonated with people, and people would email me about it. And so Monday is the I am. And then Tuesday, I should know these right off my top of my head. Monday is the I am. Tuesday, what was Tuesday today? No, Monday is awareness.
Okay.
And creating awareness in your breath. Tuesday is the I ams. Wednesday is the love letter or gratitude outward.
Nice.
And however that shows up for you. Mm-hmm. And then Thursday is garbage day, where we let go of something.
I like that.
Because it really is garbage day in my house.
I wondered if there was a correlation.
Yeah. And Thursday, and so each one of these, and then Friday, so I'll say that in a second. And then Friday is our vocabulary day. And because you really can't be mindful or expressing ourselves is important, but having the words to express ourselves is super important. So today in my live, I did I am exactly where I need to be. Right? Because I talked about my sister-in-law running a marathon and how I can't, I don't have that ability right now. Um, and, but I've always been a runner and that's always been on my list. So I talk about that a little bit. And I talk about another thing that's on my bucket list that someone else is doing that I can't do. And sometimes it feels like everyone's living my life except me.
Wow.
Right?
Yes.
And now that I'm seeing the end, I can see the end of my life, even though it could be 40 years from now. But once you get to a certain point, you see the end more clearly.
Yeah.
And those things that people are doing that you're not doing sometimes hurt, not hurt, but see, hurt's not the right word. And because I've been doing these things on Friday, I can say that it's more annoying. Annoying is how I really feel. I feel annoyed that I can't do what they're doing. Um, so yeah, that's Monday through Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday is kind of integrating how those different precepts, because I think those, and they'll be probably tweaked as I go, but I think those 5, if we can get into a practice of doing those 5 in our own way, that will take you to a really good level of mindfulness.
That's perfect. And
each day I've been writing posts for Medium on that.
oh my
Like
goodness.
I have one about garbage day.
And you have quite a following there too. And you have accomplished so much already in 2018, but this book is coming still. And do you have travel or health or family goals other than this year? Or is this a pretty encompassing presentation of where you're going and what you have this year in store for what's in store for Renee for the rest of the year?
Oh, for this year. Well, my son's a junior in high school. So we have our summer will be, well, right now we're in travel soccer never ends, right?
Right.
So he's going to a lot of ID camps, and we're trying to figure out, he wants to play soccer in college. So that's a whole different ball game than just my kid wants to go to Harvard or whatever. Let's face it, none of my kids will want to go to Harvard. Even if they got a full ride, they would probably say no, thank you. So we do a lot of soccer travel. And then I'm sure you've heard me talk about the cabin.
Yes.
I'll get away to the cabin a few times, and that is going to be wonderful. My 2 older kids are going on a mission trip together, which I think that is super cool. But while they're doing their God work, I get to take the other 2 on a double secret trip, just them. So I'm really excited about that, because you never get to take just 2 kids someplace.
Right. You have all
right?
of them.
So
or none of
yeah,
them.
so I'm excited about that. As far as writing goes and work goes, I still make jewelry and other little things. And I sell those at a boutique in Upper Michigan. So I have that. So I'll still be making things for that. That's kind of like my my creative therapy, my hand therapy. When I'm not writing, I'm working in the studio, and that gives me an outlet to get rid of everything that I make. So that's good. But I really want to focus on getting this book out. And I think I would really, by the end of this year, I really want to write about those 5 precepts and maybe put that into a small book, to like a guide for, a guide for women who are older, who wake up and they see the finish line and they realize that they're not living their life the way maybe they thought they were going to live it. To just have it be a toolbox, tools in their toolbox to say, I can do something more. It's not too late. And I guess that's my, I run into people all the time who say, oh, I can't do that. I just turned 50, and I laugh at them. I'm like, 50's nothing, like hop on board, life's waiting. Let's get on the life train rather than rolling over. And those are the 2 things that you can do. You can roll over and say, I'm waiting for, life to happen to me. Or you can say, this is amazing. I'm going to go out and make a ruckus,
yes,
as Seth Godin says.
Yes. Okay, it's time. It's time to tell us a secret. So it could be your secret writing dream. It could be maybe you want to go write a romance novel someday, or poetry, or maybe it's just something we don't know about you, something nobody else knows about you. It's time to tell us a secret.
Can I tell you? I'll tell you 2 secrets. Well, one is a secret. I'll tell you 2 secrets. One is I have a pen name.
I did not know.
I know. No one knows. That's why I don't mind telling it as a secret, because no one would know. Yeah.
You have a pen name.
So there you have that. Now, if you know me, you'd probably say, oh, that makes complete sense. But if you're not thinking like Sherlock Holmes, you might not get it.
I'm on a mission to discover it.
Okay. All right, PM me. Don't put it out there on Facebook, because then I'd have, I don't want to lie to your face, but I will.
This is fun.
Right. And the other thing is that, I was looking at properties yesterday, and I really want to have a house that is like a retreat house, but small, not like gigantic retreats. So I was looking at 5-bedroom houses that I could live in, and it would be a mindfulness retreat house where you just come, you eat really amazing local organic food. I get to cook for you, and to have it just be a container for people who need that, whatever it evolves into. I would like that.
I would like to spend a day just so I can have you cook and taste some of the delicious things you make.
Yeah, a few of the houses I looked at, the kitchens were not wonderful. But then I was thinking, I don't need a gourmet. I need a stove and I need a refrigerator. Yeah. That's all I need. I can chop stuff on the floor if need be, right?
Well, there are some food regs somewhere, but I'm sure you can work it out.
Rules are meant to be broken, right?
Okay, so you have been fabulous. And before we wind up here, so I want to ask any last thing that you would like to share and your website and how we find you to connect.
Oh, the website is renee.love. Isn't that fun? I have love as a suffix rather than .com. So renee.love is the website, although, I am more active on Medium. So follow me on Medium. If you want to know about the fun part of menopause, follow M3. If you want to write for M3, let me know, and I would love to talk to people about that, because the more voices that we have, I think the less scary it is for people. And if you want daily inspiration, honestly, my daily videos I try to cap them out at 5 minutes, which is really hard for me sometimes. But, just pop in for that. And it's on Facebook, I think it's Love Wins. I don't know. I'll have to get you that. But I think it's Love Wins. Because I couldn't do Renee.love on Facebook for some reason. I couldn't name it that. Yeah, those are the places to find me.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much. It's been fun.
This has been wonderful hanging out with you, and we should do it again soon.
Okay, I'm up for it.
Fantastic. Thank you, Renee. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Right. Bye.